Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is for you. Wherever you happen to be right now, this is episode number 1 of the ResultsMatter Podcast. I'm Mike Voories, and I help business leaders, entrepreneurs, and sales professionals become measurably more successful. Today, I'm going to talk about the presidential election and its real impacts on business. Before we dive in, just a quick ask. If you like this episode, please subscribe and give the show a great review. And if you think this content would be useful and helpful for someone else, please consider sharing across your social media networks. Today, I want to talk about the presidential election. Now, I know what you're thinking, Mike. The election's over. It's finally behind us. I don't even want to think about another election for another 3.5 years. Okay, fair enough. And I couldn't agree more, so let me be more specific. I want to talk about how the results of the election actually impact our businesses. Leading up to Election Day, there was a lot of talk and speculation about what impact businesses large and small would feel depending on who was elected. Talk, speculation, and even concern for the business world is nothing new during a presidential election year. Look, in America, we take this election stuff pretty serious. We're talking about the most powerful office in the world. Our president has the power to deploy troops. He negotiates on our behalf on the world stage. He controls all the various departments of the federal government. He signs bills into law and can even veto bills passed by Congress. So the business world is largely affected by who our president is and which political party he's affiliated with. Now, it can be debated and will be forever which side is better for our country, and it absolutely makes a difference. And it absolutely matters. Foreign trade policy, government regulations, taxes, fuel prices, and overall economic stability are all heavily influenced, if not largely controlled, by who's in the White House. Now, depending on what industry you work in, all of this most certainly either directly impacts your business or indirectly impacts your business through trickle-down. Last time, this time, or next time, whoever is president impacts all of our lives. It impacts all of our businesses. It just does. But you know what has a much bigger impact? You know what matters even more? What you and I do. You heard me right. You have a bigger impact on your business and your individual results than the President of the United States of America. And you always have and you always will. Because the government's actions and who's in office impact our lives and our businesses doesn't mean we're just along for the ride. The decisions we make, and more importantly, the actions we take, have more impact on our results than anything else. Our level of success is driven by what we do, a whole lot more than who wins the election. And look, I follow politics like a lot of people follow sports. I'm passionately opinionated, to say the least, so I get it. It scares me, though, that business leaders, entrepreneurs, and sales professionals who don't like the outcome of the election are going to sit back and patiently blame the administration, the government, the economy, or whatever. Similarly, it scares me that business leaders, entrepreneurs, managers, and sales professionals who are celebrating the election's outcome are going to sit back and patiently wait for prosperity to be issued to them by the administration and the government. Neither of these scenarios will work. Both are horrible ideas, yet I see this all the time, and not just following an election year. Too many people are acting as though they have no control, like they're just along for the economic, politically fueled ride. Widely recognized challenges become an excuse for poor performance or even failure. Let me say that again. Widely recognized challenges become an excuse for poor performance or even failure. Business isn't good because of the economy, we say. Business isn't good because of the labor market, we say. Business isn't good because of fuel prices or insert your commodity, part, supply, or material here. Business isn't good because of who's in the White House or the governor's mansion or who's chairman of the Fed. You know what I'm talking about. All these external factors that might be working against us, and they really are. They really can be working against us. That's real. You know what these external forces are, the ones that are working against us? The ones that make us feel like we're swimming upstream sometimes? They're called challenges. Simple as that. And do you know what? Do you know whose job it is to overcome challenges? Sure you do. It's business leaders, entrepreneurs, and sales professionals, and anyone else who leads a team or is responsible for producing results. It's our job to overcome challenges, not to make excuses, not to blame the outside world for our lack of desired results. Look, there are circumstances out there, conditions, situations that challenge us in our organizations. There always will be. Being able to overcome these challenges is a lot of what separates the good from the great, winners from losers, success from failure. If you use outside conditions, those conditions that are out of your control as an excuse, you give your power to overcome the challenge away. You're basically saying, look, this is too big, too much. There's nothing I can do about it. And if you really believe that, well, hopefully I can change your mind before it's too late. But if not, listen, you got to get out of leadership. If not, you're going to be miserable. You're going to get left behind and you're going to crash and burn. Even when the conditions and circumstances that are out of your control seem insurmountable, you have to own it. Leaders can't make excuses in the midst of tremendous challenge and turmoil. That's why you're the leader, to find a way where there isn't one. So don't blame the economy, don't blame the labor market, don't blame the price of fuel. It's not the president or the governor's job to run your business. Now, ideally, they wouldn't get in your way either, but I'll save that rant for another episode. All of that stuff is out of your control. You have a choice to make. You can figure out who to blame, you can make excuses, or you can figure out a way to overcome challenges and move the damn roadblocks out of your way. Now, if your business and industry is experiencing favorable outside conditions, that's great. If the winner of the election is good for you, for your business, for your industry, then that's awesome. If all the stars are lined up and everything seems to be clicking, good for you. Seriously, that's great. But don't get complacent. Don't get comfortable. The world can change overnight, and it usually does. You're in charge of your success. You have to own reaching, maintaining, and hopefully surpassing your desired outcomes. Your results are on you. Whether the current conditions and circumstances that are out of your control favor your organization or challenge it, it's on you. Political and economic climates are always changing, as is the list of challenges outside of our control. We're always going to have to face challenges. That's part of being in business. It's part of being alive, really. Question becomes, do we make excuses or do we move the roadblocks? Being able to overcome challenges that seemingly everyone in your industry is facing gives you a serious competitive advantage. Think about it. If you can figure out how to recruit and retain talent better than your competition in a tough labor market, you now have a competitive advantage. And that's just one example. When you overcome the tough challenges that everyone else is struggling with, or at least minimize the negative impacts, you effectively turn a challenge into an advantage. To get back to the point in the topic here today, the presidential election, look, who becomes president affects all of our lives and our work. It impacts our businesses. It just does. But it doesn't have nearly the level of impact as the decisions we make or don't make, and the actions we take or don't take. A presidential election is a big deal for a lot of reasons, but don't give it too much credit in this context. Focus on what you can control. Don't make excuses. Take total ownership over your results. If you have a great year, I can promise you it won't be because of who won the election. If you have a crummy year, I can promise you it won't be because of who won the election. When it comes to your business, your job, your area of responsibility, it's your results that matter, not who's president of the United States. We can't deposit excuses, friends. Hey, thanks for checking out the episode today. If you enjoyed or found the material useful, please subscribe and give the show a great review. Be sure to check out the next episode where I'm going to kick off a 3-part series about customer experience. In a world where awful customer service seems to have become the normal, I'm going to talk about how it might be easier than ever to actually differentiate yourself. The Results Matter Podcast is a production of Voories Business Solutions. If you'd like to learn more about additional services, products, solutions designed to give your business an unfair advantage, you'll find a link to VooriesBusiness.com on the show notes. Be sure to sign up for free business coaching delivered right to your inbox. Thank you so much for listening today to the Results Matter Podcast.